to the cloud. All right. So today we're going to talk about cap and commission management. We're keeping it totally brand neutral. And so I have taken what I've learned in the past and attempted to turn it into something that we can all use as indies, regardless of whether we have a cap structure or a split structure or a flat fee structure. Okay, so bear with me, and if you have questions, ask. Please turn your cameras on, participate, keep things brand neutral. This is a little bit about me. What are you laughing at?
Mary Lou in the chat.
Oh, what'd she say?
I'm not going to say it for replay purposes.
Mary Lou, just do it. But you be real. Okay, this is the history of me professionally. But today I'm starting with the history of me as a small child. And I swear, I promise that there's a reason for this. I have recognized patterns in myself. So when I was little, I think I'm like 3 in this picture, right? People used to ask me, how old are your parents? And they were not 36, but I would always say 36. Okay, so from when I was like 2 or 3, all the way until I was 12 or 13, and I realized they're not actually 36, I would always just say my parents are 36. And I don't know why that number stuck in my head. I think like those formative years, those foundational years, I thought when you're 36, you're an adult. That's when you have a spouse and a house and a family and a job. So my parents must be 36, and when I'm 36, I'll have all these things too. So a little bit about me is that I'm very much like a tiny little bit of a visionary, but much more of an executor and an integrator. So when I got to 36, it hit me like a bag of bricks. I think I remember sharing this with our leadership team. I had no idea what to do with my life. I looked at myself and went, I'm 36. I have a house, I have a spouse, I have kids, I have a job. I did it, you know? But then I didn't know where to go next. It's like I stopped executing. I had no integrator plan. I had no vision past 36 because I think growing up in those formative years, once you made it to 36, you made it. So I had a little bit of a meltdown when I turned 36. I was like, I don't know what to do now, you know? And so similarly, when I turned 36, I got my broker's license. So there's a picture of me all branded to my brokerage, right? But in my head, the vision never went past the test. In New York State, the tests to get your broker's license are really, really difficult because in upstate New York, it's residential, it's a rural, there's like a little bit of suburban communities, but it's really rural. But then you've got the 5 boroughs of New York City, which focuses on like property management and leasing and all of these ethical issues. And so you have to know it all in order to pass the test. And so I was really focused, like, pass the test, get your broker's license, just pass the test, right? There's 2 of them, pass them. And that's where my vision stopped. So it's a pattern, right? I was like, well, now I'm a broker. Cool. What next? So recognizing these patterns in myself, I was reflecting last month on what can I offer this group of people who I love, who I've poured my heart and soul into. What can I offer them from what I've learned, right? And I was reflecting on my career growth, and what I realized was this doesn't have to be a pattern anymore, and if I can save you from it, I'm going to. So the one thing that was very, very significant that I learned at my previous brokerage was how to be strategic with a cap or commission plan to make sure that all of your bills are paid throughout the year. And so I want to share that with you today. And so this whole course is designed for you, that you can make a plan and not just have a vision. Okay, so take notes, take screenshots. There's going to be some slides, and I really, really need you to participate when we get to the business snapshot page, which you'll see in a minute. Okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're down for that. Okay. All right.
Good
So
morning.
good morning. So here's the deal. When I started writing this course, I was going to do a step-by-step how to cap manage exactly what I learned at the previous brokerage and just deliver it to you that way. And then I thought about it really hard and I thought, you know what? When I learned this, I was fascinated by it, but it felt kind of gross because people were numbers and they really attached numbers to every agent at the office. And because of that, retention was always a problem. And I don't want that for you. And I don't want that for me. So it didn't feel good. And that's not the approach that we're going to take. So I am not step-by-stepping you on how to do cap management. Instead, we are going to look at it through this lens. People are not numbers. The people in your story are characters in your story. The numbers are telling the story that you're writing for these characters. Shifting the perspective, okay? So rather than agent production determines how wealthy I am, you determine agent production. That's where we're going with today's class. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay. It just feels better, doesn't it? Like you're taking control of the agent production versus tying numbers to agents. It just feels better. It's way more authentic. So when we talk about commission management, cap management, what is it? Have you ever heard of it? Do you kind of have an idea, but you just want to know more? We're going to dive right in. I need you to take a photo of this slide because this slide we're going to go back to as we move forward. Okay, so there's 4 different strategies that we're going to focus on. And it's a look at the history of your closed transactions. So you're going to have to do this after the class, right? You can pull up your closed transactions and really, you can do it during the class if you want to, as long as you can kind of multitask and pay attention. But you want to see where the gaps are in productivity. In New York State, it gets really slow, like end of October, November, as far as written contracts. So then that filters over to end of December, January, when the closings have kind of halted, right? And so that's probably our slowest time. And then again, July, all the agents just go on vacation, like they're camping, we only have like 3 months of good weather here. So they're gone. Like July, they are not selling houses. Don't even ask. If they sell a house, throw them a party because it's a miracle. So then, you know, in September, October, again, you're not getting those closings. So those are my gaps in productivity when it comes to my agents. So you need to know, where are your gaps in productivity? Then we're going to look at recruiting. So now that you know where the gaps are in your productivity, how can we cover the expenses? Because your monthly expenses are the same every month. It doesn't matter if your agents are producing or not, you still have monthly expenses. So how can we recruit strategically to cover those expenses? And we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to look at how to increase productivity during those months where agents aren't selling houses. We can do it with a training calendar. We can do it with contests, different activities that lead to results that will pay and cover your expenses for the year so that December feels just like May. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes. So everyone took a photo of this? Screenshot it? Give me a thumbs up. Does anyone have questions so far? Okay. Can you all see this clearly? I know it's probably tiny. The numbers might be tiny, but you can see it. We're going to analyze it, and this is where I need your participation. So, oh yeah, Mara, I love this. You would like to feel some sort of control instead of waiting or pushing. Yeah, the burden shouldn't be on you. Kim, thank you. Am I a poet today? Jay, didn't even know it. I'm a poet, didn't know it. Okay, so, oh guys, thanks for the happy birthday wishes. Okay, Now I want to look at that. Sorry, I just wanted to check the chat to make sure nothing like super important was happening in there. This is what we call at the locker room, the business snapshot. If you're already partnered with us, you have this, you've gone through it hopefully with your coach, and you understand what you're looking at. I'm going to give it a brief rundown just in case. So you have this snapshot of your business month by month. Okay. So every month, if you're updating these numbers, you're going to get a really good idea of what's happening inside of your office. So this is just an example. It's nobody's specific business snapshot, but this person has 2 staff members. They started with 17 agents, they lost 1, they remained 16 agents throughout the year, and I just put it at a 70-30 split just to make the numbers easy, okay? Their monthly expenses are $6,000. Every month, they know that's what it is. They understand their budget, they've been through it, and those are their expenses. So then we're going to talk about GCI. So if you look at these months, can you tell when the agents are writing deals? This is where I need you guys to participate. I'm great at waiting for answers, so just chime right in.
Like, do we know when they're like when?
Yeah, like when you look at this, you can tell when are the agents active and when are they not that active. June and July. August. June and July, they're not active or they are, Bernadette?
I'm sorry.
Active. That's
Yeah.
okay.
So I want to challenge that though. If we're looking at June, July, August, wouldn't the non-active play out 60 to 90 days prior to that?
Yes. Yes. So this is GCI that's rolling in, right? So these are deals that have already been written, they're closing. So if we're seeing June, July, August, the GCI is the closings are high, the GCI is higher. When are they actually writing contracts?
April, May.
Yeah, April, May.
Yeah, you want to take it like 60 to 90 days back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at this business snapshot for the whole year for this broker is making $64,000 company dollar. And now they're going to pay taxes and whatever else they have to pay, right? So is this enough money for the amount of work that we do?
No.
Heck no. Right? It is not enough. So this broker needs to get really, really intentional. So we can do this through commission management, right? So first we need to identify where are the gaps in productivity. So where would you say, what are the months where this broker is not making money? Highlighted them in red for you.
September.
Yes, September, November, right?
And they're not making much in October.
Not really. So maybe this broker's in New York and her agents don't work in the summer. You know, but that's where it's showing up. So when you look at that, what does this tell us? A few different things, right? This broker needs more closings, September, October, November, even January, right? Like these are some pretty low months over here. So how can this broker make more money during these months?
Probably have those contracts, have more written contracts earlier on that they're closing in September and October.
Exactly. So there's a couple ways to do this. I am going to tell you the fun cap management way. And that is to recruit agents who are top producers who you know work during those months, right? And when you're recruiting those agents, The whole idea behind cap management is to offer the agent 100% commission from the day that they start until a certain month, okay? And then at that month, they go back to the 70-30 split that everybody else gets, right? So that's really alluring to a top producing agent because they're selling houses. So if they know that they can get 10 or 20 under contract before that month, they're making 100% commission. And then they're willing to give you 70% because all of that extra money makes up for it. So it's like a trick up your sleeve kind of deal. So what you need to do when you're looking at these numbers is think, when do I need when do I need to recruit this top producing agent? What month do I need them to be at 70% in order to make money? So if they're making no money in September, when do they need to offer that 100% commission incentive to stop? Like if I was going to recruit Katrina, I would say, Katrina, I want you to come join me at Matthew 6. I'm so excited. You're totally like the ideal agent for us. You jive with our culture. I know we can just grow together. I want to offer you 100% commission until, what's the date? You want to go 60 to 90 days back. So that then when she's closing deals, they close in September and I'm getting 70% of that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does anybody do this right now? It's very strategic, and it is how this one specific broker recruits so many agents. They know, they look at the numbers and they know what are their expenses every month, where do their current agents perform, and where is the gap. And then they offer 100% until 3 months before the gap.
Chris,
Business planning.
I don't know if you're going to talk about this, so stop me if I'm getting ahead of you. But one of the things that we used to do was figure out how much money you're saving them. You're going to talk about this? I don't want to jump.
Nope, do it.
Figure out, so look at their past production, calculate how many months they're going to be at 100% with you. In fact, calculate how much you could predict they would have been paying their broker. And then in your proposal to them, to bring them on board, you include that amount of money as the amount of money that you're saving them. It's part of the proposal.
Yeah. I mean, let's say in my example, Katrina, I'm recruiting Katrina, and I know that she's going to bring $45,000 of GCI alone because she's a top producer. I already know she's going to be making $13,500 extra dollars, right? That's the incentive. This is where you beat out the Coldwell Bankers and the Compasses who are paying agents to join, right? You're paying the agent, but not really. You're being really strategic about when their commission starts so that you have your bills paid. Jen, Dawn wants you to just repeat what you said.
I was typing it out, but I'll say it again. Calculate based on their past production, what their average units per month is and their average dollar price or whatever, their dollar price point. Calculate how much money you'd save them. So if they're on 90 days of 100% with you and they continue to close 5 deals a month, for example, do the math, calculate more or less based on their production, what that actually is in savings. And then when you create your proposal to do whatever you're going to do to bring them on board, part of that is put you on 100% commission, which is a savings of, $18,257. Be very specific about it because it means you've taken the time to calculate it. Does that answer your question? Or did that make more sense? Dawn, let me know.
You can also add in there any of their brokerage fees that they're currently paying or anything that you're going to be, because they're joining you, it's taken off the table, like signs, cost of marketing, just anything that you're also including. Make sure you factor that in And then I love Jen. I haven't thought about the proposal in so long. Y'all, that's a done deal. When you give an agent a proposal on a piece of paper and all the numbers are spelled out, they're gonna join if they're about business and you've made a good proposal.
When you do the proposal for agents and you just deduct the franchise fee or royalty fee or whatever fee they're paying, that 6% every month, on its own, that's a big jump, right? They're saving a lot of money there. But then when you do this and it's like 100%, it's even more impactful. Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I did this all the time in a former life, and it works. That crunching side-by-side comparison, totally, as they're saying, is where it's at. And I remember one specific woman that I had recruited over, showing her side-by-side. Let's say she'd been at her current firm for 5 years. And literally with this specific person, it was $100,000 per year that she would have legit made more here versus there, kind of thing. And I said, and let's just keep rubbing salt in the wound. You've been there for 5 years. That's $500,000 that you paid to somebody else versus your own pocketbook. Now, and I would close by saying, look, you don't owe me anything. You don't owe your current company anything, but don't you owe it to yourself and your family to take a stronger look at this? And of course, 9 times out of 10, it's like, okay, all right, let's look. So
I
this
will
is
say
legit.
that, yeah, when you have, did you mute me?
I accidentally muted you. Sorry.
You know what, Jake? Just take over.
Meant to mute myself. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks. When you have an agent who you're offering this to, this is very strategic. You're not offering it to everybody. This agent has to be a top producer, because if you give them 100% until December, hoping that then in February you're going to make some money on their closings, that means they have to be the type of agent who sells houses in December. So you want to really dive into your MLS stats and understand the agent's history in the business before you offer this to them. The other thing is, you've got to make sure it's a culture fit, because if this agent comes into your office saying, I got 100% until next April, your other agents are going to be like, what the heck, you know? And so you should have already met with this agent 1 or 2 times before offering this, because you want to ask questions like, what's important to them? Why are they in the business? What motivates them when they're feeling defeated or in their down months? Then when you do this comparison of numbers that Jake and Jen are talking about, right? And you do this proposal and you say, you're going to make $100,000 more with me. You'll know exactly what they're going to do with that money. With this $100,000, you can go buy that condo in Florida to be closer to your grandkids in the winter. With this $100,000, you can pay off your student loan, whatever is important to them, right? You'll already know because you've already met with them. So 2 things, if you're going to use this as a recruiting strategy, it has to be a good culture fit. You have to have met with them at least once before you throw the numbers at them. And then you show them the numbers, because at that point, you understand their why, you understand what's important to them, and you can use that with the numbers to seal the deal. Does that make sense? Okay. So outside of the recruiting strategy, there's more. Okay. Who says this? Let's see. David. Okay, I'm not doing 100. My split is 25, 75 for brand new agents until they complete their first 5, and then 80, 20. Okay. Thinking of adding in a transaction fee. Thoughts on how to market this? Well, David, so what you can do is you can call the cap 80-20, right? Like you're at 75-25, and then you cap at 80-20 after 5 transactions. So what I'm going to do is cap you in September, regardless of whether you're at 5 transactions or not. You know, kind of use that as the carrot to dangle. Yeah, track your coaches and the coaching clients. Yeah, everything should be tracked. You should be able to really dive into this and think about Mara, you gave me a perfect segue into the next piece of this. The agents who are not in production during these months, like, yes, you can use this to look at this and dive into a very strategic recruiting play. You also can look at this and dive into a very strategic coaching and training play. Okay. So what trainings can you put on the calendar and when? So take this broker, for example. What trainings can they put on the calendar and when so that they can be profitable in September and November? You're going to want to focus on trainings that get the agents into production, motivate them, fire them up to work during the summer or whenever they're not working, right? So that those deals are closing in your negative months. So what are some trainings that you could offer or that you could pull in from someone else, maybe a lender and a title rep, whatever, if they've got something? Track. Yeah. So I'm going to show you this. This is Track. This is, you guys all have access to this Track Plus. This is a piece of Track. Okay. So let's just say this is 90 days. So it works out perfectly with the time frame. Track is 90 days. So this is an example of a 90-day class. So if you were to start this 90 days before September, you're going to want to use this agent job description as a contract with your agents, right? Pick a small group so that they're not getting lost with each other and focus on that group really being intentional with this job description. So if your focus in June was, hey, I need 5 agents to volunteer who want to close 10 contracts or write and execute 10 transactions during the summer. I need your commitment. It's 90 days. Who wants an extra, however much money it is, come September 1st? Those 5 agents who raise their hand, you sit down with them and you say, hey, here's the job overview. This is what we're doing for the next 90 days. Are you committed? Sign here, right? And then they go back, they talk to their family members, they make a video, they're sharing with their network. This is what I'm doing for the next 90 days. I'm so excited because I've never worked during the summer, but I want to do this. I want to do this for my family. I want to do this for the community. I want to do this for the people I know. I'm going to be present for you guys all summer long, right? They're fired up. They're into it. Now what? Now you go into your toolkit and you share with them the memory jogger. This talks about all the people in their sphere that they can add to their database. If we did this in June, what would September look like?
Profitable.
Profitable.
Right?
Agents that don't want to leave you, that you're retaining because they're making money.
Yeah. You don't need. So I guess my point is with this, if you're running Track just because you have it, if you go back and take a look at your business snapshot, you can be more strategic with when you're running Track. Okay, because your agents, they're only going to engage in Track so many times, right? I mean, it's just the way that agents are. But if you're strategic about it, they will feel that from you. They will be saying, okay, you know what? Kristen's heart is in it now. Why is my heart in it? They don't need to know it's because I want them to pay my bills in October, but they're going to feel it from me. I'm more invested now because it means if you guys do well, I don't need to worry, right? They will feel that from you. So if you go back and look at your business snapshot and the months in which you need more, and then you're strategic with starting Track those days and those months versus just doing it quarterly or hopping in. I mean, the national Track needs are awesome. So I always encourage them. But if you can be strategic with your Track needs and running Track with your agents, it will be more impactful. I truly believe that. Is everyone following me? Give me a thumbs up. Yes, head nod. Doing okay? Okay, the next thing is what activities will lead to results? Okay, so we can stare at this thing all day long. And we can say, I'm going to go recruit agents in June, and I'm going to offer them 100% commission until October. Or I'm going to focus on recruiting agents, whenever it's slow, January, February, December. And I'm going to offer them 100% until April, June, whatever they need, whatever you need to do to work for your budget. What are the gaps in your business snapshot, right? What are the action items that need to take place for us as brokers that will lead us to results? Like, what do you need to do today to put a plan together for commission management?
I would guess for most, since nobody else will talk, it's getting real with their numbers first. Like, if you don't have the luxury of having the business snapshot part of locker room success systems for enough, whatever accounting software, you just need to lay out what are those months. And also I would encourage people to look at them in quarters, look at it from both angles, and ask yourself the questions Kristen has been asking us today of where are the gaps, where are the dips, and what do I need to do so those moving forward, I'm getting summer money in December. That's the whole thing. There's a term called winterizing your office. That is what we're trying to do here, is winterize your brokerage so that you are profitable in December, just like you're profitable in April and May. And you can be strategic, obviously, which is what Kristen's talking about today. But because I have the mic, see the chat. I put a snapshot in there. Go to the Locker Room University, every single one of you. Now it's from last year. Okay, so the dates might be off by a day or something, but we gave you an entire Q4 recruiting plan, like the calendars of do this on the 1st, do this on the 2nd, for the whole 4th quarter. It was robust. It took me forever and a day to create, and I hope every single one of you will go back and take an hour and watch that.
And then apply it, right? These activities that I'm saying, like, what do you need to do right now? So yes, you need to understand your numbers. If you don't have a business snapshot filled out, or you don't know where to find one, or you've never seen it before and you want it, just put your email in the chat and we'll take care of it, okay? But you have to be able to look at this in a way that really makes sense for you, right? Interrogate the numbers. The numbers are telling the story, right? The agents aren't telling the story. Remember, we're looking at this through a lens of you're in control, not the agents and not the market. You're in control. So how can you take control of this situation?
I was just gonna pipe in too. I'm sorry, I'm driving too, but with the Jake saying, and to be able to know also what to implement, if you are looking for top producers, you have to look at your own numbers and your own business snapshot to see what that means to in your area. Like a top producer where we are could be $100,000, but somewhere else it could be 75,000, somewhere else it could be 250,000. So you have to play with those numbers a little bit to see what actually works for you in your own brokerage, to see what a top producer is, to offer that 100% for those months.
Yeah, right. Like a top producer in our market is anyone who sells like 4 million or more. A top producer, if you're in New York City, 4 million is like just 1 or 2 transactions. So it depends on the market 100%. Yeah. What are some other, oh, Holly, yeah, go ahead.
I think I just don't understand where they're saving money, because with the cap structure, you get a certain finite number of company dollar and that's it. So like, how am I saving them money?
Okay.
Because I'm taking the same amount of money out regardless.
I get your question.
Time.
It's just a timing. It's a matter of timing. So if you do offer a cap structure, like your cap is 15,000 or 20,000, whatever you choose it to be, because they're a top producer, they will cap, right? That's why it's important that you're talking to a producing agent. You're only offering this to producing agents, okay? Because you know they'll cap, it's you deciding, when do I need the company dollar? Because eventually they're going to get 100% anyway, right? So then you're offering this incentive to them, like, you know what? I need more company dollar in November. So that means those are closings that are going to happen from transactions that are written in September. So I'm going to say to you, Holly, I love you. I want you on my team. Come on over. I'm going to give you 100% until September. Your anniversary is going to be September every year instead of August or whatever month you're in, you know? And so you're incentivizing them to come over and get 100% before they cap. And then their anniversary is going to be whatever month you set it at. So every year in September, they start over, right? And then, you know, because they're producing agents, that you'll get that company dollar coming in during November, October, or September, October, November, December, and then they'll probably cap. And that's okay because they're going to cap anyway. So it's just a matter of timing for you. When do you need the company dollar? And then you time it appropriately. And they're just thinking like, oh my gosh, Kristen loves me so much. She just offered me 100% right away. You know, they don't, no agent is thinking about this. Most brokers don't think about it like this. So
I'm just really surprised. I'm sorry. I'm just really surprised. Like, I totally understand what we're doing, like what's in it for us. I would struggle to tell them, you know, I'm going to save you this much money because I'm really not. I mean, factually, I'm not. It's just,
you're saving them money, Holly, if they're paying more where they are. So, you know,
like a high app,
I'm sorry, I didn't
more,
hear that.
more company dollar for the year. Like if they're paying more company dollar for the year where they are.
Correct.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So take the example I gave earlier. She was at a traditional company, didn't have a cap. It just, you could get up to the 90-10 split or something, but it never shut off. So I just want to be clear, like the savings comment was almost, maybe we shouldn't have said that because it's a little out of bounds of what we're talking about today. So it's not a savings. The savings is up front, because if their current brokerage says, well, because you're leaving us, you've got 5 pending deals. Sorry, we're going to take 50-50 instead of 70-30 on those. You could dabble in that a little bit. But from my experience, their biggest headache is, oh my gosh, I can't even think about switching right now. I've got 5 deals pending. What am I going to do about all my yard signs? So that upfront win helps soften that obstacle, if you will. And I would tell them, hey, look, I got you. What do you do every day, Holly? That's right. You help people move. That's what you do every day. Okay. Well, guess what? This is my job. This is what I do every day. I help agents move. So just like you're going to give confidence and remove stress and anxiety from your clients, your buyers and sellers, that's what I do. That makes sense?
It's free money. It's free money up front. Yeah. So even though they're going to be giving you 15 or 18 or $20,000, no matter what, if you're telling them that year doesn't start for a few more months now, you've got a couple months of just free money. That's where the incentive is.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
It's just doing what Caldwell Banker is doing, only in the reverse. They're offering people 15 grand to join, right? But they're having a bigger split until you've paid back the 15 grand. So, you know, we're not putting the cash out necessarily.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're not putting the cash out, and also it puts you at an advantage. So if you have an agent that's like, you know, you want to get in business with them, they love you, they want to make a move, but let's say they're capped, you can match that cap. You can say, well, actually, we're strategic about when we bring on talent as well, because we want it to be a win-win. And my number one goal is to keep you in production, and we want to make you whole from the get-go. We want to make sure that you don't incur any costs that you wouldn't where you are. So this is what I'm going to do for you. And then you cap manage them in, and they're like, now they're that, if that's their only objective, you've just taken it off the table.
Yeah, you're absorbing it. That was the word that I put in, that that kind of helps sometimes if you use that verbiage, that it's being absorbed.
Yes. So aside from the recruiting strategy, which is the main point of cap and commission management, what else can you do when you're interrogating the business snapshot? Trainings, we talked about track. Are there contests that you can do? Are there incentives that you can run during certain months, right? Anybody who writes transactions during the month of June and July, they're going to get an extra, they're going to get 80% instead of 70%, right? That might incentivize them a little bit to sell more during the summer so that you don't have negative numbers in September and November, right? So what are some incentives that you can come up with during those down months? But you've got to remember, you're not incentivizing them during, for example, November and September. You're incentivizing them for 60 to 90 days before that, because that's when they're writing the business that will close, right? So what do those incentives look like?
Kristen, could you do something like, because I find a lot of times in the summertime, because like the kids are out of school, you know, that they agents have a hard time trying to find time to work on their business. And so leading up to that kind of time frame from June to August, I would love to incentivize them on extra, like if I can get them more transactions prior to, then some of the money, whether I chip in half and they pay half, I can help them cover childcare for the summer so they can continue to grow their business. You know, maybe that could be something that if we get them, like, I mean, they have to get more, you know, closings or whatever, but we can help them do that, put some money aside, maybe match them, you know, to help to, I mean, for these agents that are really engaged, to help them out.
Sure, why not get creative like that at that point, because you understand their why and you know them, right? Jake, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes, along those same kind of lines, I think it's this whole the message meeting the moment deal. And so I remember one summer after my very first year of coaching, I'm like, okay, can't have that happen again. So what am I going to do this second year? Because everybody checks out, right, during the summer months. So my messaging was, and I ran a contest, first place contest winner for 2 got a cruise. I would pay for I think it was like a 4-day cruise so I could control and cap the cost of something like that. What do they want to do anyways? They want to go on a vacation. So my messaging, my contest, and the prizes of that contest were actual experience things that they could take their family on or whatever. So first place was a cruise. Second place was a weekend in Myrtle Beach with a golf spa day or whatever. I can't remember what third place prize was, but it was basically summer family oriented prizes based on this contest I did around activities.
I love that. Katrina, what you got?
I was gonna say too, something you can use, because you, going back to what you can use the business snapshot for, if your company dollar is low, because maybe those are the months where you lose agents. I know for me, it was always like around renewal time or when dues were due if they weren't in production. So you can take those, you know, get them, partner with those agents that are at risk for leaving before then, 90 days out, and help get them 1 or 2 more transactions so that they can stay in real estate. The whole reason why the locker room exists is because we want to change the failure rate. You know what I mean? So take a stand and be like, I'm going to help you. You know, let's do this.
This is where the value of the roster exercise comes into play. So I had this, let me see, pull it up. If you're looking at this value of the roster exercise, which you guys have access to, right? If you add a column here when their anniversary is, that can help you to strategize. But you also are going to look at these, right? The bottom 20, and you're going to do what Katrina just said. How can you incentivize them to get just one more deal? What are the trainings? What are the incentives to work on these guys who might not renew their license? Should they be taking track? Maybe this is the group you want to focus on for track instead of this group up here. They're already selling, right? So being strategic with the value of your roster is also really, really important. Okay. Anyone have questions? I would like to know during these
Chuck has his
last,
hand raised.
oh, Chuck, sorry, Chuck, go ahead.
I was being polite. Also, now this may feel a little overly analytical for some that are on here, yet sometimes it's the growing the skill set so that they can retain the transactions that they've already contracted and not have as much of a fallout rate, or looking at the transaction makeup of your office and what's the percentage of listings to buyers, and centering training around that as well. If I have a low skill set and like 50%, I'm exaggerating here, 50% of my transactions are busting, and then I have Kristen, my broker, asking me if I can grow by 2 more transactions in a given month, I just see that as like overwhelming because I'm having such a struggle keeping them together. And so sometimes it's just implementing training and coaching to protect the business they do have at hand, and ensuring that it closes also.
Yeah, 100%. You don't have to be strategic about recruiting if you're being really strategic about the roster that you currently have.
Right.
Right. Who has other questions? I would like to know, what's your biggest takeaway? Are you planning on implementing anything right away? And if you need more help, you need to let us know. So just drop it in the chat. And don't be afraid. Or you can just send a PM or, whatever. Let your coach know.
So I do have a question, Kristen, for those that are on that are transaction fee based brokerages or organizations. Would they embrace more of your beginning concept of just where are the peaks and the valleys of your natural flow, and somewhat let the discussion around managing the cap go and focus on where are the valleys and how can I keep them from being such valleys? Or like you said, I do remember you saying bringing in consistent producers that can fill in some of those valleys as well. Would that be where the fee per transaction type business models focus?
Yeah, absolutely. I would make it a 2-step for if you're a flat fee model where you are recruiting those producing agents, right? Who are going to bring you that flat fee every month, regardless of the market cycles. And you can incentivize them as well. For the next 3 months, there's no fee. You're 100% until January, right? You can do that same exact thing. But the other play there is also working with the agents that you have to see if each of these agents closes 2 more deals, what is that number in flat fees for commission for company dollar, and is that going to be enough to make up for what I'm losing? Will that fill the gap? So it's both. I think it's both. And how can you be really intentional with training and coaching to get those agents to sell 1 more house or 2? It could be 1 agent selling 1 extra house every month that just covers your gap. It doesn't have to be like all of a sudden your agents are selling 7 more houses, right? Sandy.
Yep. I like the proposal, the agent description. That was really good. It would be helpful. I don't know if it's available, but at least decrease the learning curve and the time for implementation for the top producing agents. If there's an example of the worksheet for working the numbers out in the proposal letter.
Yeah, we can get that to you for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What else will anybody be implementing right away? Or what is your biggest takeaway?
I'm in this phase of my brokerage where I'm just recruiting, like I'm just trying to get agents. And so I'm thinking about, I'm having events each month and coordinating with my lender friends to sponsor them. And I'm thinking October is a good month then to have a business planning clinic for the following year, so that we can find out how much money everyone wants to make, and then I can kind of get an inside scoop on what's going on and then follow up with them on, we'll look at what we're going to do to get you there.
Yeah, you just plus one it, Holly. If you're sitting down and having a business planning meeting with the agent that you're recruiting, and then let's say you have like 10 recruiting appointments, or even if you hold a business planning class and 10 agents come to that, and you say, let me have a copy of your business plan, and then we can follow up and meet together to talk about how to make this happen for you, whether they come to your office or not, right? And then you look at all 10 of them and make it work for your calendar so that every month, you'll have commission coming in. That's like, right? And they don't know that's what you're doing. It's a win-win. It's a win for both of you. We do have track starting. October 3rd is the official start date, but there's the pre-launch on, when is it? September 19th, Jake?
That is correct. Basically, September 19th, I'm going to not only go over what track is, but those who commit, I'm going to say now, starting now, you've got 2 weeks to finish the first week. So you got to get your workbooks ordered and all that stuff, because October 3rd, being our very first track meet, will be reflecting and assuming they've already done the first week of track, if that makes sense. That allows us to keep pace and finish on time by December 19th before Christmas.
Yes. So if December and January are those lower months for you, you might want to very, very, very much encourage your agents, and not just in a group post in your Facebook group, but call them and say, hey, track is starting. Jake and his coaches are teaching it this time around. I need you to show up, right? Hold them accountable. Put them in the driver's seat of your story. We'll whip them into shape. Yeah, we will. Does anyone else have questions or comments or needs? Are you good? Was this helpful?
Very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, if anyone needs anything, you know where to go, okay? You can find us, you can talk to your coaches, you can send me a PM, you can text me, whatever you need to do. All right?
Thank you.
Really good today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you, Kristen.
Happy
Right.
birthday.
Thank
Thank
you. Happy
you.
birthday.
Yeah.
Thank
Happy birthday.
you. Thank you. Have a great week, guys.
You too.